Shop Chat! Shop Chat!
Well, in addition to the wonderful world of men's barbershop and women's barbershop, there is also a vibrant and growing mixed barbershop community as well. And today we have with us on this edition of Shop Chat a quartet that represents the epitome of all that is the best about mixed barbershop harmony. We are delighted to have with us today Double Date, your two-time world champs of mixed harmony. And we thought since we've got the champs with us, we ought to begin with a little bit of singing. So let's hear something, guys.
All right.
Every which way I look, I see your face before me. Every which way I talk, I always call your name. I'm walking down a one-way street, trying to forget. But after all these lonely years, I find I love you yet. Every which way I turn.
We're done.
Thanks so much, guys. We are so glad to have you all with us. But first question, the name, Double Date, I don't get it. What's that?
Michaela and I are together, and Nathan and Robbie are together, so it seemed...
Well, actually, I thought the way we could get started today is by finding out first about how each couple came together, and then we'll find out how all of you came together. So, Michaela, Nathan, how did you guys begin your little relationship here?
I think our story might be pretty similar, but we met going to school together at the University of Missouri, St. Louis, and got into the same small vocal group together, and then it was just love at first sight.
Yeah.
But we spent some time together and got to see each other every day, and that certainly helped. And
So it was like a small pool of guys, and you thought,
I know, this is the best I could do.
that's right. Out of her 10 choices.
So you all didn't know each other before you came to school together and happened to be in that program.
Well, we
We met
met
one time.
like for 30
before.
seconds. Yeah.
At an international, when BHS International was in Kansas City. I met him one time.
2011.
We sang and tagged
Nathan
together.
just planted a little seed in there. Someday it will blossom.
That's right.
And then we went to the same school, and then here we are.
There you go. And Blair, you and Robbie, what's your stories?
Yeah, we
It was like love at thousand.
love it, thousand sight. We actually were friends for a really long time before we started dating, and Robbie just showed me over time that what a good friend and a good person he was, and he was obsessed with me immediately.
Obviously.
But I put him in the friend zone. But over
Robbie
time,
Brown.
in his diary.
Yeah.
And over time, I just saw what a good and genuine person he was.
I love singing tags with Blair.
Yeah,
from the
we
beginning.
sang
I was,
together.
like, made
So
him-
actually, when we first really started Double Date, they were a couple, and we weren't yet. We were just friends.
we didn't have the
okay.
name
And
yet.
we weren't called Double Date. We were just four friends singing together. And over time,
Right.
I just realized, like, I'm obsessed with this.
One couple and two acquaintances. It was
Exactly.
an awkward quartet.
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, it was too long. It was wordy.
So now, did you all know each other like in high school? Did you grow up together, or you just got to know each other in college?
No, we all have in common that we all ended up at the same school so that we could work under the direction of Dr. Jim Henry from Crossroads and Gas House Gang and Ambassador of Harmony. So that was like the draw that brought us all there. And so when we all met, we kind of had that in common. We didn't know what we were doing, but we all knew that we wanted to work with that guy, you know?
Sure. Now, is that because you all had connections to barbershop before college, and so you knew about him, or what was if that wasn't the case, what was the draw to work with Dr. Henry?
Daddy issues. I was searching for a father.
All three of them already knew about barbershop.
I
That's
did-
why
I
they
didn't
went there.
really
You didn't
know.
really. I just lived in the area, and I knew I wanted to get a music degree. And
Yeah.
my voice teacher said, "You should go to this school. They have a really great choir director." And I had no idea who it was. I just was told he's the best in the town. He's the best in St. Louis. That's where you should go. So I just got lucky, really.
You know, that is it's always reassuring, isn't it, when you think somebody's like a legend, but you don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm a barbershop
Yeah.
or my perspective is colored. So then when you find out, no, he's legit. You
Yeah.
know, like
It
everybody.
was like my classical voice teacher was like, "Oh, you got to work with this guy. He's such a great choral director. You'll love it. He'll change your life." And I was like, "Good. I want my life changed. Let's go."
So music in a lot of ways brought you both together. First of all, just as couples, then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, how did you guys decide to start a quartet?
We just
We were hanging out, like we would hang out at the end of rehearsals of this Vocal Point
Yeah.
at the University of Missouri St. Louis. We'd hang out and be like, "Hey, you guys want to sing a little bit?" We knew that we were the best.
Right.
That's not true.
We
That's not
appreciated
true.
Actually,
each other's
among
game.
that was Brian Ziegler,
Brian,
who just
yeah,
won.
Whatever.
Brian Ziegler, after us, Aaron Pollard of Frontier,
That's true.
he was in our group as
Yeah.
well. We have a lot of, there's so many great people that came out of Jim Henry's music program, truly.
Mhm.
So, but we just wanted to be best friends and hang out all the time.
Yeah.
And we were like, what, can we just sing together? But then we knew there's nowhere to do it. There's
Right.
nowhere to compete. There's nothing to do with it. And then someone said, they do have a mixed contest, but it's in Germany. And we thought, how are we ever going to get to Germany? And so we just volunteered kind of to sing at our school. So every time a sporting event, we would sing the national anthem, or an alumni dinner, we would go sing a few things. And we just kept saying yes and volunteering for things. And when the time came to try to go to Germany, our school said, we'll help you out.
We cashed
We'll
in on
help
those favors.
Yeah, we'll help you get over there. But they were like, but you better do a good job. We were like, okay, we'll try.
A lot of pressure. Now, I wanted to ask you all a little bit more about particularly the difference between choral music and then barbershop music, because I never had any experience at all in choral music, and in fact, I've encountered some people from that background who have a very snooty attitude
For sure.
about barbershop. And yet you guys, were, of course, with Jim as your director, have somebody who's going to embrace both. But for you guys, what has been the biggest difference from your choral music to singing barbershop? And then what's been some of the biggest carryovers from singing one style to the other? I'm going to start down here with Michaela.
I think just basically what we've learned is good singing is good singing.
Mhm.
And kind of all the techniques that Dr. Henry taught us in choir was all stuff that we could really transfer over to our barbershop in any style that we want to sing. So everything that he taught us was instrumental into getting good at barbershop.
Yeah, like when we've coached with Jim, he's said, use your opera voice. You know, he's like, when we're in quartet, he's like, why are you like, you know, don't save anything. You know, use your big voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Blair, has that been your experience as well?
Yeah, I think something growing up that I felt is that in choral music you have to not compromise but kind of hide who you are to blend into the sound. And I remember something that Jim said over and over to me was to just sing with all the colors of my voice. And that's what I love about barbershop is I feel like you really are encouraged to sing with the colors of who you are and show your true voice. And the best sound is when people are just really being themselves, you know, and giving their unique flavor. And that's what I love about it. But yeah, it's the same. I remember him saying people would, even in the music program at our school, there were like classical teachers who were like, now don't blow your voice out singing barbershop. And it was like, no, because if we're doing it right, it won't matter. The
Right.
same techniques will apply in both areas. And it's nothing that will damage either area. And I think that's what we strive to do. We're always thinking like, what would Jim say to us in choir, and how can we apply that now in this moment?
Now, Nathan, I can't remember, did you sing with the Ambassadors at any point?
Yeah.
All right, so you and Robbie both, and you've also both been in Jim's choral group. So you guys may be even more to this point, because you're right, in ensemble singing of any kind of large ensemble, there is that need to really blend in. But now you guys would have stepped off of the choral risers, go to rehearsal that night to the barbershop risers. So from your vantage point in seeing both of those large ensembles, what are the biggest differences and also biggest similarities that you've experienced?
To me, it's mostly the same.
Mostly
Right?
the same, yeah. Like Jim is asking for people to sing with space and, you know, with resonance and with heart in both places.
The concept of how you produce that sound is the same either in Ambassadors or in that choral setting. I think really just the biggest difference is just the style of music.
Yeah.
And is there somebody in the quartet who has the unique gifts and personality to kind of be the one who is the organizational mastermind behind these trips?
Michaela has Google Docs of like what pajamas we're gonna wear.
Spreadsheet for
Yes.
the quartet socks
Yeah.
and everything else.
You're kind of like a baritone.
I can't
but,
buy that honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly.
Right. Well, that's a blessing to have, and especially a lot of times for younger quartets, that's like the stuff that kind of does tend to fall into cracks, and then it wreaks terrible havoc, and especially when you're trying to do something as ambitious as an overseas trip. So very cool. You should get extra points and
Extra
medals,
points?
I think.
10 points
Wow.
to Gryffindor.
So now, Nathan and Michaela, you all have both achieved quite a bit of success in just men's and women's. Michaela is currently the Sweet Adeline reigning silver medalist as a part of the quartet class ring. And Nathan over here, Mr. Big Shot, just strolls out on stage here in Orlando this summer, just picks up the 4th place medal. No problem, no big deal, just another walk in the park. So now I'm curious for you guys enjoying both worlds, blended harmony, but then also female and male only. What are the biggest differences you notice, like singing with double date as opposed to singing with class ring? And then same for you with quorum, just as a musician.
For me, it's just when I sing with class ring, I'm singing a little higher. But I mean, to me, it's all the same. Barbershop and good singing is just
kind of like what we were talking about. With,
yep. We work on the same things. It's the same.
Sure. And then Nathan, what's been your experience so far?
Yeah, I think production is the same. It's just maybe blending is a little bit different. I think in this formation, I feel like we can all just sing however we want to, kind of. I mean, that sounds incorrect, but it's like very more of a pop style. And then in the men's, there's this certain lock and ring or sound that people are looking for, and it's not drastically different, but it is affected a little bit, I think.
Well, maybe double date sings a lot more of a variety of styles than our
not just contestable barbershop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our quartets both sing non-contestable barbershop too, but I think we really cover a wide variety of different genres, so that's probably a little bit different too.
Now, one of the things I'm always curious about with a mixed quartet is how you decide how to distribute the parts. Because as we've all seen, there's various different configurations, and I'm thinking especially when there are 2 guys and 2 gals. So when you all first decided you wanted to sing, was it pretty much this configuration from the start, or did you play around with some other options?
I think we messed around a couple times with me and you.
Yeah, at the beginning we thought, who's going to sing bass, but
Bobby and
clearly
Nathan are both baritones in men's singing, so we didn't have a clear.
But Nathan can sing
bass.
a lot higher and louder than I can. So we put him on baritone.
Yeah. I got you. So that's basically then how you all decided just from the start.
Yeah.
We knew I would sing lead because I'm not smart enough to learn any of the parts. So that was pretty much that from the beginning.
Gotcha. So, well, obviously it's worked for you. So you've competed twice. Now, I'm unfamiliar with the rules of the mixed harmony contest. So can you pretty much go back and compete as many times as you want, or how does that work?
They want you to. Their hope is that whoever wins will come back and defend their title over and over. And they don't mind if that's the same person for contests in a row.
Okay.
That's totally okay. So we went the first time we won. We thought it would be really cool to come back. Let's try to do it again. We went back again and we won again, which was great. And we just thought, let's maybe not do this again.
Let's not subject ourselves to that level
it's
of
stressful.
pressure.
Of course, it's stressful to keep competing. I think that's really different with men's or women's. Once you've won, you're a champ for life. And in mixed, It's not that way. They do kind of want you to keep at it. And we were just like, this is pretty stressful.
Sure.
Let's take a break. And then once we told them, we probably won't come back next time, then they said, great, next time come back and be a featured quartet at the convention. So we've been to Germany now 3 times, twice to compete, and then once just to sing on the show. And also Nathan and Michaela got married in Germany. When one of the times that we went, they loved it so much that they chose to have their wedding there, which is
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that contest, is it every year or every other year?
Every other year.
Every other year, I see. And it seems like the vibe I've gotten from you guys that I think maybe helped with this is I don't get the sense that you guys are like a competition-driven quartet. So, in other words, if you maybe were that way, maybe you would feel this pressure. You just got to keep going back, hammer and tong every year. But that's a part of you. But what is really, would you say, is your identity? What is this quartet? What is your purpose as a quartet?
I think it's like a friendship thing. Like we are best friends, truly, and we want to hang out with each other. And I think part of competing in the first place was, especially as a mixed quartet, it is hard to break onto any kind of scene. There was no way for us to get any shows or be invited to do anything, and we just really wanted to sing together.
People didn't know about it.
People didn't know about it, right? And so we thought if we could win something, maybe we could crack on to some shows.
We started in 2012, and even only 6 years ago, it's now so much more popular than it was then.
Right.
So we were like, we want to sing together, we don't know how, and
maybe if we
so
compete in something, we'll kind of be known enough that people will invite us to hang out. So
Do
just so we get to
shows
hang
and-
out together.
And that happened for like a long time, like especially in the CSD, Central States District. We were doing shows like almost every other weekend, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was only because we chose to compete. I think had that not happened, nobody would have invited us to do anything, and we just wanted to get to hang out together.
we just want to be together forever and record a million CDs.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, complete this sentence. The best thing about singing in a mixed quartet is...
Singing with the people I love.
That's what I was gonna say.
She went right to that.
I'm so
from
glad
the
I got
very
to go first.
Sharing hotel rooms.
Uh,
Just kidding.
We'll edit that out. I guess in this case,
Sorry.
it's quite all right. Yeah, no.
No, he meant all four of us.
I meant all four of
Like
us.
we get to have sleepovers.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real fun. It's
Very
real fun.
good. You build a fort, like, have pillow fights, stuff like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, it's fun to sing songs about love with the person who's like inspiring the your romantic feelings right there next to you. It's nice. Just right here.
You and Nathan just right in each other's faces.
It's nice.
I think a great thing for me is like anyone who's been in a quartet knows this, that a lot of times time with your quartet is time away from your family or away from your spouse, and for us it's time together. So it never feels like, bye honey, I'm going to go do the thing I love. We get to do it together, and I don't have to feel like it's time taken away from our connection or our weekend that we would have spent doing some family or paying our taxes or whatever.
Yeah,
sure,
We're doing
right.
it together, so it's very...
It's fun to like try to create art with your like this group too. It's not, I guess that's more about couples. You could do that in a men only quartet or a female only quartet too, but like it's fun to work on something hard with
with the person that you are spending your life with. It's a cool, it's almost like couples counseling. It's a good experience. We only get stronger as best friends and as couples going through this experience together and growing and challenging each other.
I remember years ago, somebody gave me advice, and they said, before you get married, hang wallpaper with the person who can do that. But maybe
or take
work
down
on
old wallpaper.
That's right, right. So maybe quartetting, that might be the other thing.
Yeah,
to do here.
yeah.
But Rob, you just made a point that I don't think I've ever thought about before, but it's creating art. Like, there's a lot of ways you can create art, like painting or sculpture, but those tend to be solitary projects. And yet you guys get to create art, and you get to do it with people you love, and you get to do it together. And I think that's an aspect of mixed harmony and the kind of thing that you all do that I hadn't really thought about, and until you just mentioned that. So I wanted to say something personal to you guys. But it's really in an effort to say thank you to you guys on behalf of a lot of people. But so we're here at Labor Day Jamboree. I don't know when exactly this will be aired, but you guys were here last year as well, and I was here, and we kind of hit it off over the course of the time, just kind of hanging out.
I could tell that we were
And
going to be friends.
And my job by day is as a minister, and so at some point in the weekend, you all asked me if I would be willing to come backstage before your performance, I think on Sunday night maybe, and say a little blessing before you all went on stage, which I was very, very honored to do. And so I went backstage and saw you guys, and we prayed together a little bit. And my wife, Christy, was with me that night. And you all went out and you did your show set, and I think you concluded with, if you love me, really love me, which touches a lot of people. And it's certainly because of circumstances in our life, she's dealing with cancer, really, really touched us in a profound way, actually, that night. And I just wanted to say to you all that I know you asked me to come and give you a blessing. But I just wanted you all to know how much of a blessing that you were to us. But I say that because I want you to know on behalf of a lot of people how much of a blessing you have been. Because there is a beauty that radiates from you guys as a quartet that has very little actually to do with the chords that you ring, but just with the people you are and the evident love that you share together, which quite honestly only this particular unique way of singing as a quartet really affords. And I just wanted, on behalf of a lot of people who may be watching this, to let you know how much you are appreciated and how much of a blessing you are. And I don't know what the future may hold long term for you guys, but I for one, and I think a lot of people with me are certainly hoping you guys will just keep on doing what you're doing for a long time. So, now we got the mushy stuff. Let's get the mushy stuff out of the way here. If people want to follow you guys, how do they do that?
We're on all the social media. We have a website.
Twitter.
We have
Face
Twitter,
chat,
Face Chat, Google Books.
MySpace.
DoubleDateQuartet.com. You can reach us.
Facebook is the best way.
Very good. Well, we wish
So-
you guys the very best.
Yeah.
And so we have a little shop chat
Yeah.
tag that we ask all of our guests to do for us. So could you all take us out with our shop chat?
Shop chat.
Well, Blair, Ravi, Nathan, Kayla, thank you so much for being our special guest today on this episode of Shop Chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Mr. Shane.